Testing, 1, 2. This is the Mr.Nobody podcast. Coming to you from Tonight You're Alive. The Tonight You're Alive network. Tonight, if you're listening to this, if you're hearing this or anything, you're alive. 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 I'm at a loss for words. What do you say? What do you say? What do you say about anything? I sometimes think about the moment leading up to my departure from life. I know that sounds terrible, but it's not. It makes me appreciate that I'm alive at this moment. Tonight, alive. That's Buddy Rich. I think about all the things that won't matter, that don't matter, and the things that do matter, and the things that do matter. How I lived, how I loved. I don't want to look back at how I hated, or how I was angry. Or felt, I don't know, victimized by life, cheated by losing my son. Sometimes it's the beauty of life that is the most heartbreaking thing. The beautiful, ordinary things we overlook. That maybe is lost to so many people, but I can only live my own little story. Somebody's gonna tell that guy to shut up a little later. But right now, tonight, I am alive. Like you. I've been given, no, is that the right words? It sounds too religious. When we attach supernaturalism and religion to things, it just clouds it up. But I feel like I have been given things. I'll give you an example. So you might have heard me prattle on about how I'm going to join a jiujitsu school. Yeah. What happened? And I haven't followed up with you in a few weeks. And I'll tell you why. On Father's Day, I went to a fairly famous jiu-jitsu school. One day. Not that that's important, but it's just a fact. And I got into the school and had my gi on. And I took a class. And I noticed some things that I couldn't deny. I couldn't deny it. Something made me not pull the trigger on signing up. What's going on? And I was asking myself, is it just because you're lazy, afraid, cheap? Because it was pricey. I couldn't quite put my finger on it. I felt like it was a factory. A jiu-jitsu factory. And I'm much more interested in practical martial arts than I am in the sport element of it, even though I completely love jiu-jitsu. I've always been geared that way. Mindset is on the practical, is about that for me, the practical. And this was it was like a factory. I don't know if the word is cookie cutter or it's like a factory. Yeah. There were no heavy bags, no striking. I noticed that people could not really use the mats after the classes because they had to clean them and get ready for the next. It was restrictive in that way. Class, kind of corporate. There was no striking. I said that. And no practical application no direct practical application of self-defense, like on the street. It was for sport, pure. It was real shit, but it was for sport jiu-jitsu, which is fine. It was sport jiu-jitsu. And I rolled with some really strong guys. And I was able to survive having my face being used like a basketball. I noticed it was highly competitive. And people were nice, but nervous. There was just something missing. It was competitive. And I just let myself go with that. I had to work for a week and do some other things. I let myself think. And I just let myself think it out. Tell me. My mind, tell me what it wanted to do. It took a little time, but I had to listen to that voice that told me. And over a week or two, something was not right for me. I remembered there was a Krav Maga school. Oh yeah. Which I had done a couple of months of that some years ago. I should just check it out. And I liked it, except for that particular school. Every school is so individual, depending on. It was not for me. People were too friendly and talkative and joking around during the class. That's dangerous. Get punched in the face, which I did. I like a more serious, reverent experience of training, violent. I don't mind if it's potentially violent situations. You don't want anybody helpful, like talking, or not focusing, I think is a better way of saying. Yeah, not focusing. It's meditation. It's reverence. It's surrender. It's training. Yeah, it's not actual fighting. It's training. But I like the concept of pure self-defense. So part of my life now is challenging myself to get out of my comfort zone, to get out of my self-pitying zone, to get out of my hate zone, my arrogance. Those are deeply entrenched structures. So I called up this school a Krav Maga Institute. And it was just, do you want to come in and take a free class? Yes. Click. We'll see you tomorrow. They also mentioned that they had ground fighting, yoga, and that I could use their facility, which included weights and punching bags, pull-up bars, and the mats anytime I wanted. Anytime. And it was a fraction of the cost. I had to refresh myself on fractions. Basically half the cost with no huge initiation fee, no integers of the other place, the factory. I asked myself, if money wasn't the issue at all, would I still be hesitant for some reason about the factory? It sort of felt like my first day back at school years ago, where the first sentences you hear land like big bombs. And one thing really caught my ear, which is, don't try to beat your training partner. Make them better. Every time you train, make them better than they were yesterday. Train hard, be gentle, find balance. Adjust yourself to who you're with. These are things I would have told my son, and that my son would have told me. It's just obvious, and very different from what I had just experienced at the factory. It all depends on what you want to do with your life. And I really dug the class, what you want to focus on. When you have that feeling where you unexpectedly find yourself, kindred minds, you find yourself where you're supposed to be.
Shut up. Shut up.
There it is. Shut up.
Shut up.
Shut up your mind. And I joined. I committed. I made a commitment. Since then, I've been back again. And I had two experiences there where the subject of my son came up, which is not typical. It was weird. It was like he came up, like was there. That sounds pretty supernatural. My apologies. I gotta tell you, I can't train. I can't kick, I can't punch, I can't roll without thinking about my son, without feeling his presence. We did so much of that together. when I ask the hymn in my mind, or acknowledge to him and him to me that this is where I'm supposed to be. This is exactly where I'm supposed to be. Where I'm supposed to be. One experience where my son came up was with a fellow student. I just met him. Who's a professional photographer, I had learned. And his name is my son's middle name, not a common name. And I said something like, that was my son's middle name. Past. Which triggered a few sentences between us, between strangers. There was an awkward silence, and I added, he's not with me anymore. Or with us, click, anymore. I think the stranger said to me, yes, he is. I couldn't help the emotion that I felt, the tears and the choking up. Fortunately, I was covered in sweat, and we were alone in the training room, and this person who I just met, a stranger, embraced me. A purely human acknowledgement of life. He told me a few things about himself. And I listened. I listened.
Get up.
Shit. I need another click. The other moment where my son came up was today. When I got to the class, I got there early because I like to warm up. And there was a young guy oh shit, I'm gonna need another click. There was a young guy, 25 years old, who looked like my fucking son, teaching the class. He was my son's size, body, and if I'd seen him down a hallway, it would have looked like him. The resemblance was too close for comfort. He started asking me questions about
Get up.
how long have I trained, blah, blah, blah. The course of talking brought me to my son again. And I said, my son was a purple belt, just like this kid is. and an MMA fighter, just like this kid is, and trained a fuck of a lot. But the kid is alive and is currently dead. Tonight, at least in his form, as he was, he's not alive. He's not alive. He's not alive. You look like him. And the kid said, in what way? And I said, the way you look, but also in his, it was hard, kindness. To hold that moment, his demeanor. I had to hold that moment to fully feel the reality of my loss, the visitation of my son, feeling the absence, his presence, the power, what he taught me, the loneliness, what he's teaching me, the heartbreak, the relationship, and the reality that he's gone. Click. If you're hearing this, at least tonight, you're alive. And that's It was an awesome experience. A deep moment. The class. The meeting. The words. The training. The non-words. And knowing that I was where I was supposed to be. Isn't that weird? Is it a gift? I wasn't supposed to be at the famous place. Is it supernatural? It's like I've been... guided by just letting go. By what? Being open. Is that a guide? Being willing. Is that being self-guided? And shit? Or is there something else going on? Shit comes together in some weird way. Click. I had a terrible thought, which is that my son needed to get away from me, and that's why he did what he did. I think that's putting too much importance on me, but the thought did come to me that he just didn't want to live around me. Too much. I only mean that in the deepest of unconscious or subconscious ways, that sometimes we're not free to be ourselves under the tyranny, even the innocent tyranny of our parents, how they try to mold us, control us, and are full of fear. I've seen this many times, and even the kid today that looked like my son told me that he never took up music because his dad is a tenor player, and he just didn't want to do the same thing. Did my son feel that? His sentence merged with that thought that I had. He needed to get away from me. That my son needed to get away from me. As far away. Not a great thought as possible. But sometimes the truth is not pretty. Is not pretty. Is not But sometimes the truth is not pretty. I know my son would have wanted me to do this, to feel, to train really hard, to feel my body. My soul, no question. Reality. There's other things that are happening now, but I will leave that for another episode. And here's a song. Click.
Don't take it so bad. The world doesn't know. The sun will still shine. The wind will still blow. Don't be so sad that you're all alone. Ask any old man. We've reaped what we've sown. But tonight, you're alive. Tonight, you're alive. The games that we played are all in the past. The dragons we slayed, enjoy the last laugh. And most of your friends are sleeping and numb. The predictable end is dying to come. But tonight, you're alive. Tonight, you're alive. So take a few breaths. The story's so old. It's like a shoe full of snakes. The body you hold that never awakes. Don't take it so bad. The world won't despair. Time trickles on, regardless what's fair. But tonight, you're alive. Tonight, you're alive.
This has been the Mr. Nobody podcast, episode number 11, and
Get up.